Most people think AI is automatically fair because machines do not have emotions, favorites, or personal grudges. Sounds logical. But AI learns from human data, and human data is full of old mistakes, unfair patterns, and unequal decisions. So sometimes AI does not remove bias. It simply turns bias into software. But here's the real question. If an AI system has no personal beliefs, how can it still discriminate against people? AI bias happens when a system produces unfair or unequal outcomes for certain people or groups. This can happen because of biased training data, poor system design, incomplete information, or the way the AI is used. The model may not hate anyone, but it can still learn patterns that create harmful decisions. Think of AI like a student learning from old company records. Suppose a business historically promoted more men than women into senior positions. If an AI hiring system is trained on that data, it may learn that successful candidates usually look like the people promoted in the past. The system is not consciously sexist. It is copying the historical pattern it was given. This is why data matters so much. If facial recognition software is trained mostly on one type of face, it may perform better for that group and worse for others. If a medical system is trained using data from a limited population, it may not work equally well for every patient. Missing examples create missing understanding. A practical example is recruitment. A company may use AI to review thousands of job applications. The system might study education, employment history, skills, location, language, or previous hiring outcomes. But some of these details can indirectly reveal age, ethnicity, disability, or economic background. Even if the company removes obvious information, hidden patterns can still influence the result. A small case study is automated hiring. Some companies have tested AI systems designed to identify promising candidates from previous employee data. But if the company's past workforce was not diverse, the model could prefer applicants who resembled previously successful employees and penalize others. The AI did not create the original inequality, but it could repeat it at a much larger scale. Bias can also appear in banking and lending. An AI system may help decide who receives a loan or what interest rate they are offered. It may study income, payment history, location, employment, and spending behavior. But if the training data reflects historical inequality, the system may produce unfair outcomes while appearing objective because a machine made the decision. Another problem is that AI decisions can be difficult to explain. A simple rule can be questioned. Why was this application rejected? But a complex model may use thousands of signals. If nobody can clearly explain the decision, people may struggle to challenge unfair outcomes. Automation can make discrimination faster while making responsibility harder to identify. AI bias is not always caused by malicious developers. Sometimes the problem is careless testing. A system may perform well overall, but poorly for smaller groups hidden inside the average result. If a model is 95% accurate, that sounds impressive. But the real question is, 95% accurate for whom? The solution is not simply removing sensitive information. AI systems need diverse and relevant data, careful testing, human review, transparent standards, and regular monitoring. Businesses should test whether different groups receive different outcomes and investigate why. High-risk decisions involving employment, healthcare, lending, education, policing, or public services should never be accepted blindly just because an algorithm produced them. Humans must also remain accountable. A manager cannot reject someone unfairly and then say, "The AI decided." The organization chose the system, selected the data, defined the goal, and decided how much power the model should have. AI can support decisions, but it should not become an excuse for avoiding responsibility. Historically, concerns about algorithmic bias became more serious as automated systems entered hiring, credit scoring, policing, facial recognition, healthcare, and public services. Researchers and civil rights groups showed that technology can reproduce social inequality when developers treat historical data as neutral truth. So in one simple line, AI bias happens when unfair patterns in data, design, or human decisions produce unequal outcomes through an automated system. AI does not need prejudice to discriminate. It only needs biased examples and careless people trusting the result. Welcome back to the AI Studio, where we make artificial intelligence simple, visual, and slightly less painful. But if AI can generate realistic faces, voices, and videos, how can we tell what is real and what happens when deepfakes become convincing enough to fool almost anyone?